What's up, assholes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about upper-lower splits and the importance of high intensity, lower volume. Cue the music. First exercise, flat bench. I do 2 sets. I don't count my warm-up sets, and I go to failure on each set. For my upper days, I go as heavy as possible, and I go to failure no matter what. And that's due to the amount of volume. And when I mean volume, I mean lower volume means less time in the gym, and higher volume means more time in the gym, and also less exercises in the gym, and more exercises in the gym. So what I do first is a flat bench, and I go rep ranges between 5 to 10. And I usually, if I get 4, it's okay, as long as I'm going heavy and hard. But I've seen immense amount of growth from going from 5 to 10 reps, and after that, we'll do some sort of fly movement, which is after our pressing movement, this joint action, we go to the next joint action, which is bringing your hands together at this motion, and then I do 3 sets, but he does something
So, with my
different.
chest day, I'm doing the 2 sets of bench because we're trying to grow the bench press right now. And then I like doing an incline dumbbell as my 1 set out of the 4. And then I do a chest fly or a dumbbell fly actually. I change it up here and there with a fly and dumbbell fly, but that's what is working for me. I like to keep the incline in there. You gotta grow your upper titty.
I don't give a fuck about the upper titty. 2 different joint actions for back, and you can do 3 if you want. But the first one I usually do, and I'll mix it up some days, but the first one I usually do is my mid back, which is this joint action, and I'll swap it out for either 1 set or 2 sets, depending on how I feel. Go super heavy and to failure, no RIRs, which is reps in reserve, and as heavy as possible. And then I usually move on to either lat pull downs or any sort of lat focused exercise. But the next joint action for reference is this. You can do pull ups, but
Do anything that activates the lats, but this is what I'm doing for my upper days is I'm rotating 4 sets of chest, and then the next upper day is 2 sets of chest and 4 sets of back, and you rotate them. What I'm doing for back right now, or well, you want to go back to chest real fast. On the 2 sets I'm doing for chest is only bench press and then a fly. But if we're talking about my 4 sets for back, chest supported back row, there we go. I'm doing 2 sets of that for my 4 set days, and then 2 sets of a lat pull down, or I do a rope pull down for 1 and then a lat pull down for 1. Then on my 2 set back days, I'm only doing the row and then a lat pull down.
and it's important to note, yes, that's usually only it's 6 to 8 sets for chest and back, and that is correct. We only do 6 to 8 sets, but the thing is the intensity over volume. So if you're going to go balls to the wall to failure, you want to lower your sets. You want to manage your fatigue for growth later in recovery. So if you do higher volume, you don't want to do every set to failure. You're not going to be able to recover properly to hit the muscle again as frequently as you would want to. And that's one of the main things that is so important with how we train is we love to train with intensity. That's our favorite thing about it. But we also want to recover. So that's how many sets we do. If you want to just feel out how it feels to go heavy and hard and how fast you're recovering. That's how you really need to go about this to be able to figure out your own self and grow for your own self. But after back, all right. So for lower, we pick a squat pattern and we hit 2 sets to failure. 10. I do 5 to 10 reps, but really doesn't matter as long as the intensity's there. You could do 4. All it matters is you're adding weight weekly to your exercise of choice and hitting the joint action. But we'll get to that later. For me, I do barbell squats when I first enter the gym. And when I say 2 sets, I don't mean the warm-up sets. I build gradually, and then I do my heavy sets. Which right now I'm doing 275, which is piss poor. But I try to go as heavy as possible, and that's as heavy as possible for me. And I go really hard. And it's helped with muscle gain in my lower body. Extremely helped. But you have preferences. For me, I love doing barbell squats. For him, he does leg presses.
I think they both work if you're going heavy enough. Reason why I do leg press because can't squat for shit. It just helps me get that activation in the quads and everything of a heavy pressing movement that you do need on legs. And over the past 4 weeks, it has helped a lot. And later on, I'll probably switch over to squat. Doing that because it is better for you in a way, but also leg press still does work if you do want to do that. And kind of how we're doing this whole upper lower thing is, which he said the rep ranges is we're doing 4 to 10, so to the highest weight we can, at least 4 reps, and then we're just going to keep doing that weight until we can hit at least 8 clean reps, and then we go back up in weight until we can only do 4. I think over the past 4 weeks it has helped us a lot in the muscle growth.
And when we use the term low volume or high volume means less sets and less reps. High volume means more reps and more sets and longer time in the gym, basically. And what we do is a lower volume, but we hit the individual muscles at least 2 to 3 times per week. And that's what's important. And adding weight over time and just intensity, increasing the weight, and frequently hitting the muscle. So after we're done with the pressing movements, or squatting patterns, we go on to more isolated movements. First, for me, I do leg extensions, 2 sets to failure, same amount of rep range, usually 4 to 10, as heavy as possible. And then I move on to...
Well, we before we go to the hip thing and all the other stuff, how we're kind of doing it right now is, since we're doing legs twice a week, we're doing a quad focus day, and then we're doing a hamstring focus day. But we're doing our heavy compounds first, and then leg extensions, and then after we do that,
movements.
we're doing at least 1 set of hamstrings in there, or quads if you're doing hamstrings on that day, and then we start going to the hips and calves type of movements that we're doing.
So, yeah, to get back to what you're saying, after I'm done with the leg extensions, I'm done with quads. So I just do basically what he's talking about, calves and adductors and hips maybe. But the important thing is it's low volume. I'm literally going in there and doing 4 sets for quads, and I'm going as heavy as possible and hard as possible, and I'm seeing growth. And it's the same for every muscle. It doesn't matter. You go in there and you go hard and heavy, you're going to see growth. If you gain strength on a movement with good form, you're going to have growth. It's that simple. Okay, but lower B days are our hamstring days, and you want to start off with some sort of hinge that hits the hamstrings. I like to do stiff-legged deadlifts. But if you don't manage your fatigue to recovery, it can kind of bleed into other days. Like if you don't think about, like if you start doing RDLs like I do, you're going to have lower back soreness. Is that we do another isolated movement. I do seated curls. Isn't that what it's called? The seated curls?
So, yeah.
Whatever this movement is, right? And I do that 2 sets of failure, same old, 5 to 10 reps. Really hard. You can either do a line curl or that seated curl. I think the hamstring gets hit differently for those exercises. I think the seated curl, the hamstrings get hit better. I think there's like a study or something about that. But
So, this video was supposed to be posted about a week ago. That never happened because some of the files got corrupted, everything. But our main part was the arm part. I was gonna talk to y'all about the arm part real fast. What we do for arms is basically 2 sets each every single upper day. Triceps, we do a tricep pull down and then something to do with overhead, like a GDM press and overhead tricep, 4 to 8 reps, or 4 to 10 honestly. And then biceps, don't overcomplicate it, does the same thing. Pick a curl, we do preacher curls, same thing, 4 to 8 reps. Probably not the best way to do fucking biceps, but that's how we're doing it. We're growing off of it. Thank you for watching. Sorry it took so long to post.